When I was in school, yep, that's me, what we learned about the environment and climate was probably a little different than what kids learn today. While I don't remember topics like global warming, we did hear about things like pollution and deforestation, and how we are the stewards of our planet. There wasn't a lot of controversy back then about climate, so everyone was on the same page if I remember. I'm curious as to what kids are taught today because climate change is such a big political football now. I know there are still climate change deniers out there, which is interesting because the climate has always changed. We have ice ages from time to time, with the last one ending just 20,000 years ago. Hey, not to change the subject, but did you know the island of Manhattan was under 2 miles of ice at one time? I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Anyway, this warming and cooling of the planet has been going on for millions of years. Experts are saying it might be delayed this time by 50,000 years because of all the CO2 we are putting in the air. But they don't really know, and they aren't always right. Back in the 60s, there were some scientists who said we're all going to freeze to death. These cycles, ice ages for the cooling periods and interglacial for the warming periods, have been consistent, at least for the last few million years. Like I said, temperatures have always changed up and down and up and down, but right now it's going up faster than usual. Over a decade or so, temperatures might change 0.2%. Lately, it's been 0.4% a decade, which means it has doubled. And that is just in the last 40 years, which has alarmed people. So what is it the scientists really know? Well, since 1880, the average land temperature has gone up 1.59 degrees. Over the ocean, it's gone up by almost a degree, which they say is a lot. I guess you should know that even though they were taking air temperatures back in the 1600s, they don't officially count them because there just wasn't enough data. Anything before that, like 50,000 years ago, they calculate the temperatures through things like tree rings, coral skeletons, and glacial ice cores. It was through these methods scientists discovered a warming period during the Middle Ages between the years 800 to 1400 AD. Not quite as warm as now, but close. A lot of skeptics point to this 600-year-old warming period as proof that what is happening now is natural and we shouldn't worry about global warming. Back then it was natural because we weren't spewing things into the atmosphere. The scientists say this Middle Ages thing was a regional warming and was due to more volcanic activity, which trapped in the heat. But who knows, right? I mean, global warming is real, we just can't agree on what's causing it, natural or man-made. But you know, I'm at the point of who cares what's causing it. I mean, what does it matter? Our goal should be clean air, clean water, and a clean environment, right? The Industrial Revolution is over and should just become a blip in history. Putting carbon in the air that's been buried for millions of years has always been a dumb idea. That's not the way Mother Nature works. Unfortunately, we are so addicted to fossil fuels that we just can't help ourselves. Some countries, not many, but a few are trying to move away from fossil fuels and rely on cleaner, sustainable energy sources. It's not going to happen overnight, and yes, countries will need to work together to break ourselves of this addiction. Eventually, the fossil fuel industry will go away and be replaced by other types of energy companies that deal with wind, solar, fusion, electric cars, ocean waves, and whatever else they come up with in the future. It's going to happen, eventually. Just not today, or even in my lifetime. People make too much money off fossil fuels. Are we standing on the edge about to tip over into carbon-driven winters and summers? Doesn't matter. We're only going to move as fast as we are going to move. I'm just being realistic. Fossil fuels, plastics, and all the other lousy things we've been doing to the environment are not going away anytime soon. But we have made some changes that seem to have helped. Remember leaded gas, acid rain, asbestos, Los Angeles in the 70s and 80s, fluorocarbons that were creating holes in the ozone layer? It took some time, but the Earth does heal itself, and now it's better. We can fix this, I think, but only if we change our mindset and educate people. So, what are kids being taught these days in schools? Well, I looked at some state education standards and all I can say is, not much. According to some recent polls, if you believe polls, 80% of parents want their kids to be taught about climate change in school. That doesn't surprise me. Another poll found teachers were even more supportive, with 86% of them saying it should be part of the curriculum. Unfortunately, nearly 60% of these teachers don't teach climate change because they believe it's outside their subject area or they aren't allowed to. You would think most schools would at least mention it, right? Wrong. Only one state, New Jersey, requires curriculum in schools about global warming. Yep, one state out of 50. There are even a few states who are trying to ban subjects in school like climate change that are on a political party's platform. Yes, I'm serious. Arizona, Maine, South Dakota, and Virginia, just to name a few, would prohibit the teaching of any issue like global warming that is included in a state political party's platform. They claim it's on the grounds of anti-indoctrination. Yeah, who wants to indoctrinate our kids about global warming, right? Florida has a bill pending saying there needs to be balanced teaching when it comes to controversial science subjects. Florida, what a surprise. There are 20 or so states who have adopted the next generation science standards, which includes climate change in the curriculum. A few more have adopted some of it, but changed the wording from climate change to fluctuating temperatures. Oh, by the way, they also felt the need to delete the concept of evolution and the idea of a 4.6 billion year old Earth. Yep, look it up if you don't believe me. Evolution is still controversial. This now 10-year-old curriculum does cover human-caused climate change, but has only been developed for middle-aged and high school students. Nothing for K through 6, and yes, lots of states have rejected it or changed it to fit their narrative or politics. Unfortunately, climate change and global warming has been politicized for years, and that doesn't look to be changing anytime soon. Fossil fuels provide jobs. So right now, it looks like it's going to be years before they quit kicking the can down the road. I wonder if short-sighted folks tried to save the steam engine when its time came. Save the steam engine. Better yet, let's replace it with a diesel engine. That's all I got.
Staring through the window, gazing at the sun, imagining the planet, this place where all begun.